What's going on, everybody? Hope you are having a good week so far. Before we start the podcast, I'm going to say it. Please hit subscribe. Please give us a review and share it around if you enjoy the podcast episode. Keeps the podcast going and means that we can keep bringing guests for you all to listen to. Anyway, let's move on. Schak. He had an extremely big record in 2022 called Moving All Around on Patrick Toppings' Trick. And I wanted to get him on because I didn't really know him as much before. I didn't really know him at all before we had a conversation. Obviously, I knew his records. I'd never met him in person. But I wanted to sit him down because he's had an extremely different career compared to what most people have in the industry to start with. His first record, Moving All Around, is huge and is doing massive things. He also has kind of an alias, kind of a character that he works or does some things under that started over during lockdown. You'll hear more about that in the episode. He's also a really, really nice guy. And got a really solid head on his shoulders, and it was really refreshing to have this conversation with him. So, without further ado, Schak. Mr. Schak, what's cooking?
How you doing? Well,
I'm really good, mate.
Here, mate.
I'm really good. Good to finally meet you.
Yeah, I know, mate.
How's life?
Where do I start? It's fucking, mate, like, I had a moment the other day. I was playing in Dundee on Friday night, just gone, and I woke up on Saturday morning and I was like looking out my window and I was looking at this like really, really nice view of the hills and that, and I was just thinking, I was like, this is my life, and like, this is what I got to do for a living.
Yeah.
And like how different my life was a year ago, mate. Like, it's mad because I thought about this yesterday. I went to the shopping centre. I haven't been there for like over a year. And I was thinking like what my life was like last time I came here.
Yeah.
It's just, honestly, mate, it's just truly amazing. And I'm so grateful for everything. I've been blessed with amazing opportunities and I've got such amazing people in my life. And I'm living my life. And I think the best way I could word it, Will, is I'm fulfilling my purpose. I feel like I'm doing what I was supposed to do. And that's amazing. Really, really satisfying. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I think like my mum as well, she's really, really proud of us because I'm fulfilling my purpose. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like my mum, she sacrificed so much of her life to enable me to be where I am, and I think she gets a lot of gratification from that.
Yeah, totally.
Do you know what I mean? So I'm really proud that my mum's happy and she's proud as well. So yeah,
that makes me happy, man. First of all, congrats on everything that's going on for you. It's fucking crazy, and I couldn't even imagine how it feels. So fair play to you. I want to dig deep into it. I want to go back and like, I know nothing about you, if you know what I mean. I've never met you. Like, this is the first time we spoke, really, apart from on text. Like, I want to get to know you. I want the people to get to know you a little bit. So I'm sure you've done a lot of this before, but I think it's going to be good for me selfishly. Where did it all start for you?
So, to go back, I would say my musical journey started when I was 13. Yeah. So, actually, no. Like, right, okay. So, I remember when I was like growing up, right, I like grew up listening to like Tupac, Biggie, Dr. Dre, Eminem, 50 Cent, NWA, like that. I grew up listening to rap and hip hop. And I remember when I was younger, right, I had this fucking. I remember when I got when I heard Straight Outta Compton for the first time, right, and me and my friends were like contemplating entering the talent show, singing fucking and singing that song. Can you imagine?
Oh my God.
We were like 11 years old. Right,
that's amazing.
And we're like, right, you do Ice Cube's verse, and I'll do MC Ren, and you do Eazy-E's, and like someone be Dr. Dre, and I'm like, honestly, we were reciting it. We were so close to entering. I would have got expelled if I hadn't done that. Like, honestly, because there's so much swearing in the song.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. But like I remember, like I would like learn the lyrics to songs. You know, like I've just alluded to there with NWA, and like Changes as well by Tupac. Like that's one of my favorite songs of all time. And I remember I used to like learn the lyrics over and over and over again. So like I grew up in like a musical. I'm not going to say musical background, but my mum's very musically intelligent.
Yeah.
She's extremely diverse. So I was exposed to a lot of different music.
Yeah.
But like I've alluded to in the past, you know, some people might think because I'm an electronic artist that I grew up listening to electronic music, but it couldn't have been further from the truth. I didn't start listening to electronic music until I started going to high school. Now, when I went to high school, I don't know what school was like for you, but where I went to school, we have first school, middle school, and high school.
Same. Yeah.
So you join high school in year 9.
Yeah.
Or for our overseas friends, that's grade 9 or whatever it is. Is that 9th grade? There we go. 9th grade, right? So I basically went to school. I was fucking into Tupac and, you know, fucking all the rap gods and all that. I was into all of that shit. And all my peers were like, listen to this hardcore music called Makina.
Yeah.
Or as we call it, the Monkey, which is named after this notorious nightclub that used to be open in Sunderland called the New Monkey Nightclub. Now, for our fellow listeners who've got no fucking idea what that is, there was a nightclub in Pallion in Sunderland in the northeast of England that was called the New Monkey It was called the New Monkey. The reason it was called that is because its predecessor, the Blue Monkey, was burnt down in an arson attack. So they then built a new one, hence the name the New Monkey. In that nightclub, they played a variety of music genres. You had Makina, hard trance from Germany or German trance, happy hardcore, and Eurodance, Italian house stuff from the 90s. Now, on top of the tunes that the DJs would play, they would also have MCs. And I got interviewed 2 years ago, and I got asked about. It was a French music magazine, something equivalent to like DJ Mag in France. And they asked me, like, why has Makina survived so long in the Northeast? Because it's extinct, essentially, where it comes from, where its birthplaces, which is Barcelona, Catalonia.
Yeah.
And I said that the MCs are akin to singers, and I really believe that MCs in Makina in the Northeast are different from MCs in different genres.
Totally.
Or equivalent genres, you know, like drum and bass.
Yeah.
Or hardcore and stuff like that. The MCs they're all like singers, and people really connect. The listeners really connect with the lyrics of the MCs. So anyway, this nightclub was incredibly notorious. Basically, it was a private members dance club, and it served no alcohol. So legally, it was allowed to stay open till 7 a.m.
Oh wow!
So it was open from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. Now, this caused an uproar with the local residents, as I'm sure you can imagine, because there was people outside the club, you know, people full of drugs. Someone ended up dying. So the police investigated, and then eventually got raided by the police in 2006 and shut down. And it's something of a mythical, legendary club. Now, I mean, the club's been closed for 16 years now. The brand did restart last summer, but it's not the same as it was before, because obviously the club's closed. You know what I mean? So, but anyway, so everybody's listening to this music in high school, right? So I slowly, because my school was entrenched with this music, I slowly was absorbed into the fold, right? And I've changed the way I dressed. You know, I started dressing, like wearing Birkhouse jackets or Fred Perry and Lacoste tracksuits and stuff like that. So, you know, I was absorbed into this fold, and bit by bit, I started really, really, really enjoying this music. And then one day I was like, I'm going to learn how to MC.
Yeah.
So what I did is I stayed off school for 2 weeks, And I went on the internet and I went on LimeWire, gave my computer AIDS, fucking downloaded like loads of these sets. I was like in the mirror, like literally. I know this. It sounds so Hollywoodish, like, right? But I literally stood in the mirror with a mic, and I was like this, emceeing in the mirror, like, oh yes, coming up for mic check, man, mic check. Right? I was fucking.
I hope there's video of this somewhere. There's got to be a video of this somewhere.
There is a video of us emceeing.
Really?
Yeah. So if people go on YouTube and type in MC Vibe Whitley Bay, there's a video of me emceeing from 14 years ago when I was 16.
Wow.
That was probably like a couple of months before I hung my mic up. Because the rave scene started to die, because obviously the big clubs closed down and stuff. But yeah, so I was in the mirror, I was reciting these lyrics, started putting slits in my eyebrows and that, you know, so I was big time in that. Fucking no one had seen us for 2 weeks, and I was getting letters from the school, like they were getting sent to me mum and that, and I was just, you know, putting them in the bin. And I turned up one day.
Did your mum? Sorry to ban. Did your mum know that you weren't at school?
No, because I had a key to the house, so she was going to work. I was, because I would always get in from school before she come back.
Yeah.
So I just did my daily chores.
Yeah.
It made it look like I'd been to school. And she said, oh, did I stay at school? And I was like, yeah. I learned loads today in maths. I was learning about this thing called Pythagoras theorem. It's really interesting. I wasn't fucking going to school.
Little did you know.
Literally, mate. So I started turning up in that, and I was like, yeah, fucking emceeing and that. And slowly but surely, I got really good at it.
Yeah.
And I would go from youth club to youth club, out of my area to, like, you know, go on the mic, and just, it was like a competition, kind of really competing against everybody in that. It was kind of like a battle. So that was where I really started my music career. So I emceed. I was doing emceeing for a few years, and then obviously when the New Monkey closed, the rave scene started. It took a massive dip, and I was obviously myself as an individual. I was evolving and growing. By this point, I was 16, so I left school and I went to college. So when I went to college, I got back into rap music. I started rapping myself. I used to write a lot of poetry, and then. Basically, it's weird now I'm talking about it. I can see how I flip-flop between both scenes, because eventually when I got a different job, because I used to be a beach lifeguard many years ago. And it's funny because Patrick Toppings, he was a pool lifeguard.
I used to be a lifeguard as well.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
This little love triangle. Woo! Did you were you in the pools or on the beach?
So I did the pools and I also did my beach, but I failed the swim for the beach. So I couldn't.
The swim test's quite rigorous.
Yeah, I'm not a great. It sounds crazy, but I'm not a great swimmer for like long distance. I'm like good for short, but like the time was a nightmare. So
yeah, mate, I feel your pain, because like people can probably say I'm not the tallest person in the world. So when I was like swimming, honestly, like I passed all the fitness tests. I was sound, but I was like the slowest swimmer out of everyone. But I used to smash everybody on the runs that we did. So I did that for 4 years, and that was when I was doing a lot of rapping. And then what I did is I got a job as a tax officer working for HMRC, the beloved place which everybody loves. And I started getting into electronic music, and I used to go out all the time to this nightclub in Newcastle called Digital. Now Digital, at the time, DJ Mag ranked it, I think, 11th best nightclub in the world. It was a really prestigious place. And I used to go there every Saturday. It was an amazing place, and I've had some of the happiest times of my life in there. And I remember back then, this is when like EDM started like really fucking booting off. So you had like Swedish House Mafia. It was just before Avicii started coming on the scene in Martin Garrix and that. And I remember I went to Creamfields in 2012. That was the first time I ever went to a festival. And I remember like, I was like, whoa, the experience was totally surreal. However, I will state like the campsite is somewhat different from the Mate, Will, when I went, right, I went in 2012, right? I don't know if you know this, but Creamfields got cancelled on the Sunday because of there was that much torrential rain.
Yeah, I remember.
The stages collapsed, and like Chinese whispers, people around the campsite were saying, "Oh, people have died" and all this stuff. It was, mate, like I said, mate, I'm little, right? The fucking mud was up to me knee. Honestly, man, it was just, it was something like an apocalypse, right? All these people in a field, high intoxicated, no music. I remember at one point I went to this ice cream van, right? I was like, I'll go and get myself an ice cream. And because there's no music, he put his ice cream jingle on. And it was just people just dancing around. He's like, mate, it was crazy, man.
Oh, I love that. That's why I love England, or like just the UK generally, is like, if that happened in America, everyone would be evacuated and you wouldn't be allowed to like be on site just because everyone's too worried about being sued. Like here, like I grew up going to Glastonbury Festival, and like you want it to rain, you want it to be muddy because it just like makes it part of what the festival is actually supposed to be. And
exactly, man,
it's what it's about. But yeah, sorry, carry on, Cream.
So obviously there's no music. I met some very interesting characters that day, but I remember I came back like, and I was like, I remember this feeling that I had. It was because it was the first time I'd ever been to a festival.
Yeah.
And I've been to, like I said, I've been to many festivals. I went to Ultra in Miami as well. That was really cool. Been to ADA multiple times, but because that was my first festival, it was, I don't know, it's hard to put into words the feeling it gave us, but I came back and I was like I want to get into DJing. And I ended up getting sacked from HMRC because I was off too much. I was just like, I was just young, mate. Just like, I remember like in the summer, if it was sunny, I'd be like, oh, I'm not going to work today. Why the fuck would I go to work and put numbers on a screen when I can go to the beach? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, oh yeah, I'm not feeling very well today. But anyway, my gaffer he recognised that I was actually good at work when I did work. So he said, listen, I'm going to give you 6 weeks paid leave. So with that money, I bought myself a set of decks, first set of decks. And I remember I was like learning how to DJ and stuff like that. And that's where I started learning how to DJ. Now, the mad thing is, right, honestly, it's so mad how everything works out and all these nuances happen. And I don't believe in coincidences at all. I don't believe they exist. Everything happens for a reason. I was supposed to go to Ibiza, right, in 2013. I'd never been abroad before in my life. And my friend was like, had a villa and said, look, do you want to come over? Says, yeah. She went, it's all paid for. You just need a passport. Now, dickhead over here was like, I'll go get my passport on the day. Because like people used to tell us you can go to the passport office and you can get it on the day. So like 2 weeks before, I was like, right, I'll go and get my passport. And they were like, yes, sir, is this your first application? First time application? I went, yes. He went, yeah. You can't come in on the day. You've got to apply by post, and that's a minimum of 6 weeks. So I was like, fuck, wrote a letter to my MP, see if he could help out and that. So I remember
I love that you wrote a letter to your MP. That is fucking amazing.
I was like, help me, please, right? But I remember this as well because my mates were in the airport, right? And I remember what time the flight was because I was meant to be on it, and the plane flew over my house. I remember I was looking out my window and I just seen it, obviously, mate. I was so sick, right? And I remember I was so depressed, feeling sorry for myself, first world problems and that. And I went, right, I'm going out tonight. I'm going to get hammered and I'm going to have a good time. Now, when I was in the nightclub, I was out in the smoking area and someone said, look, that's blah, blah. That's the head resident DJ here.
Yeah.
So I was just like, right, fuck it. I just went up to him and I says, mate, how can I get a set here? I says, send us a mix and we'll see about getting you on. I says, all right, nice one, mate, cheers. And it was like 6 months later, I ended up getting a set there and then I ended up becoming a resident.
Amazing.
And I played there on Saturdays for nearly a year. And then I went through like this period in time I was just enjoying my life, just my 20s, just being reckless and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it was like at this point as well, when I first got into DJing, sorry, this is in 2014, I ended up becoming friends with Ben Hemsley. Now, Ben, he was something of a mythical figure because years and years and years and years and years ago, I remember there was this story going on around about this kid who could have played at Tomorrowland, this young kid who was a genius. And I was like, who the fuck's this kid? Someone told us the story about this kid who could have played at Tomorrowland. And what had happened is in 2014, the nightclub I played for, Digital, they decided to host an event outdoors called Northern Lights. They had Dimitri Vegas and Like Mike headlining it. And just before, because I was working for the promotion company I was working for, obviously I was selling tickets for them.
Yeah.
And someone had, I don't know how, they created a mock flyer, right? And the lineup was pretty much exact. So our promotion company was like, if anybody uploads this, message them and tell them to take it down. It just so happens that this kid called Ben Hemsley had uploaded it. So I messaged him and says, hi mate, I said, can you take this flyer down, please? He went, yeah, no bother on that. And we just got chatting. And then I was like, you're that kid, aren't you? That could have played at Tomorrowland. He was like, yeah. I think he won a competition for Dennis. What's his fucking surname? I can't remember his name. Dennis something. He released something on Flamingo years ago. I can't remember the name of the song, but mate, I can't remember what his name is. I'll have to find out another time. But he won a competition and he was meant to play, but he didn't end up playing. And I was like, oh, you're that fucking kid. And we just formed such an organic bond instantly, and we just instantly hit it off. And then he was just like, oh, do you want to come round mine and we'll work on some tunes and that? So we used to like write tunes together.
That's awesome.
And that's how we started a relationship. And then obviously I was going to festivals, going around the world, just fucking enjoying myself, just having a good time and just listening to music and that. And it was like in 2018, I was like, right, like at some point I want to learn how to write music. But for those that are listening that don't, I really do feel like, obviously, since I've learned that people who write music, some people haven't got an actual clue how difficult it is and how much information you have to retain in order to be able to write music. People only hear the end result. They just hear the tune in the club. They don't see the arduous days you've had to go through to get to that point and to be able to retain all that information. It's incredibly arduous.
And also the years before that as well. The years before to get to that point, to write that record.
That's what I'm saying. To get to that point, to learn it all.
Yeah.
Then to get to that point. But Ben, because he understood the way my mind works now, like Ben's he's a wizard. He's an absolute genius. And I've said this before, to me, of what I've witnessed, he's akin to Avicii in my eyes, because he is an absolute wizard and he is a fucking genius. Now, he understood he knows how my mind works.
Yeah.
So he translated how to write music in a way that I could interpret it.
Yeah.
So he gave me the keys to unlock my mind.
That's awesome.
So, but I knew, because before Ben got massive, he was a nightmare to get in touch with, never mind that, right? And I was like, right, the only way I'm ever going to be able to learn music is if I get him to teach us, and the only way he can teach us is if we live together.
Yeah.
So we ended up living together. So we moved in 2019, and he taught us how to write music. He gave us the tools, and then the lockdown came, and this is where the story gets mad, but it all ties in, and it actually is how I ended up getting where I am. So in 2019, when me and Ben first moved in, I said, like, look, I'd love a lethal Halloween party. I'd love to have a mint one. Now, Ben and I got this planned this Halloween party, and I was like, right, I'm going to have a mint Halloween costume, because people don't really celebrate Halloween anymore in our country, and I think that's tragic. Like, how old are you, Will, if you don't mind
32.
Yeah, so me and you were similar age, right?
Yeah.
When we were kids, everyone had fucking Halloween decorations on the door. You could fucking go trick-or-treating everywhere. There was loads of kids out, right?
Yeah.
Like, can you remember when Scream come out and everyone had the fucking Scream masks, and you can get the one with the heart pump that pumped the blood down the mask?
Yeah.
Right? Like, Halloween was so celebrated, and I feel so sorry for kids today that weren't able to experience that.
I think it's like a safety thing as well, why it doesn't happen so much now. Because, like, back then it was, I don't know, like, it felt like it was a bit more... It was a bit more chill, like less bad shit happened, or we weren't aware of the bad shit that would happen. And now it's just like kids aren't allowed to go out of their house now. They've got to stay on their PlayStations.
I think, when I have brought this up to people, the general concession is that it is a safety thing.
Yeah.
But I think I do feel sorry. Obviously, the kids can't miss them that they don't really know, but I do feel sorry for them. So anyway, I was like, right, let's have a fucking mint Halloween party. So I went on the internet and I started looking at costumes. Now, initially, I was going to get, do you know Halo? You know Master Chief?
Yeah.
The main character?
Yeah.
I've seen artwork designers who design real life suits that you can put on with a helmet and shit. Yeah. But I was like, I'm not tall enough to be fucking Spartan. Like, he's fucking like this. Master Chief's like a super soldier. He's like a fucking absolute unit. So I was like, nah, fuck it. So I started looking at this company called Immortal Masks, who are Hollywood special effects designers and they specialize in makeup and that. And they make real life masks.
Yeah.
Out of silicon. So I was looking at all these masks that look really good. And then I seen in the bottom left corner, it was like, warning, please check that this mask will fit your head before purchasing. Because these masks cost like 700 quid.
Yeah.
Very expensive. So I was like, so I got some tape measure out. As you can see, I'm not the tallest person. Fucking measured me head. And I couldn't fit into a male mask. So I looked at the female masks and I was like, the only female mask that I will wear is an old woman mask, because I think it look hilarious. It was like a nana mask, and they look when they're brand new, they look fucking real.
Yeah. Really
real. So I purchased it, and I did the Halloween party and that, and what I did prior to that actually was like, what am I going to wear? So I went to Primark and I did some reconnaissance. I scoped out these fucking old women. I was like profiling them, like looking at what they were wearing. And I was like, right, so I knew what to buy. Got these skirts and these like white cardigans. I got the pearl necklace. And so I did it, and then that was it. I just put it away and thought nothing of it. And then obviously fucking coronavirus started booting off. And when the lockdown came, I saw how depressed everybody was. Now, at the same time, I started getting into Makina music again. Hadn't listened to it for 10 years, right? And I got back into it because Patrick was playing it, right?
Yeah.
And obviously he's played it at Glastonbury, he's played it all over and stuff like that. So I was like, fuck it, I started listening to it, and I went in this massive abyss, which just went down this rabbit hole that I'd never got out of, really. And I started reliving my youth, and like, this might sound kind of mad, right? But one of the reasons why I couldn't listen to that music is it opened the door to so many emotions it was too hard to deal with.
Yeah.
So I got back into it, and I just fucking never got out of it. And I was like honestly, the dopamine was on full power. I was just loving the music so much. And then when the lockdown came, and I saw everybody in the house who were like, they were really depressed because of, their lives had been turned upside down. I went, right, if I dress up, if I live stream dressing up, I think it'll cheer people up. So I dressed up and I did my first live stream. I had like 25 people watching us, and I actually ended up tearing me lateral meniscus in me right leg.
How?
Because I bent down. Right. So what I did is, right, I was dancing around, and I bent down like this, and my knee had locked in it. I stood up straight, like really fast. Didn't feel it at the time. I stood up really fast, and I tore it, and because I remember my camera fell off. Mate, this, because obviously this is my first ever live stream. Didn't know how to do it properly. I was just using the microphone on my phone,
Yeah.
and I had it stacked up on 2 parcel boxes against something resting. Honestly, it was just so amateur. But I ended up tearing me lateral ligament in my knee, and I remember the second time I did one, right? I didn't think anything of it. I woke up the next day and I got all these messages, and I had like 1,000 friend requests. I was like, what the fuck? I realised like one of my videos had went viral. So it's like, fuck. So...
What was that on? Was that on Instagram or
Facebook?
Yeah.
I did do it on Insta, but the Insta audience took a while to catch on to it.
Yeah.
It was more a Facebook thing. But one thing important detail I missed out of is when I came up with the concept and we were toying with the idea, I was on Xbox Live playing on Warzone, and I said to me mate, I said, if I dressed up as an old woman, I'll call her Nana. We'll call her Nana McKenna after the genre. And I says, I only played the old school classics. I said, I think it could take off. Now, at this point, you know, music evolves. From what I was hearing, I only heard people playing the new style of McKenna, the new stuff, or as people call it, my way, they call it Northeast McKenna.
Yeah.
But I'm not really keen on it. It's not because the music's not good. It's because I'm inherently biased because I grew up on the old school stuff.
Yeah.
So... I was like, we could resurrect it from the dead. So I came up with the idea, and I knew it had legs, right? When my content started going viral, I remember what happened is I ended up doing a live stream and hooking up with this rave event called Downforce, which was founded by a group of local lads from a town near Newcastle. And they said, like, look, do it on our platform.
Yeah.
We think your content could be massive. So the first live stream I did, I had 1,700 people watching us live. And I remember, just to put this into perspective, right? Hot Since 82 did a live stream in a hot air balloon, right? For Beatport. Similar time. And he had like 700 people watching him. And I was like, fuck. Here's me, just a kid from No Shields dressed up as this old woman jumping about, like, and I'm like, what the fuck? It's mad. I was like, wow, it was surreal. But every show I did, honestly, mate, it was because it was like a live performance. I had to up the ante, so I bought myself a mobility scooter. Right? I remember, right, when it got dropped off, the guy looked at us and he was like, "Oh, is this for your nan, mate?" I was like, "No, it's for me." And he went. I'm able-bodied, right? I'm like, you know, I'm fit and young, and he's like, it's for you. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, yeah. I was like, oh mate, it's a long story. I don't want to get into it. I says, I dress up as an old woman and perform live, and he just looked at us like that. I was like, just turned away. I was like, So anyway, I was turning around in my living room. Sorry, my living room. It was actually Ben Hemsley's bedroom. I was turning around on this mobility scooter. I was chucking cigarettes off the wall. Kellogg's cornflakes were going on the ceiling. It was mad. But I had a lot of fun because I like performing. I really enjoy it. And, what I did is I knew for the idea to be as big as I wanted it to be, it couldn't be just one dimensional. It couldn't just be live streaming. Yeah. So I came up with the character. So I developed this voice, which I thought was a good old woman's voice who sounds like she's had a really tough paper round. Yeah. But I remember when I came up with it, initially I couldn't do it for long, so I would scream into a pillow and make my voice really hoarse. Yeah. And then I started doing comedic sketches, and it just went from there. And then eventually, what happened is when the lockdown was lifted and the nightclubs opened, I ended up doing my first set. And that was honestly an unbelievable night. Had a great performance. But
as Nana McKenna.
So Nana McKenna was the alter ego, right? Now, whilst I'm doing all of this in the background, I'm writing loads of music. Yeah. So obviously, like, all the tools that Ben Hemsley's gave us, he's taught us all this stuff. So I'm just learning my trade, perfecting my craft. And it was in 2021, By this point with Nana Makina, I'd got I think it was 55 million views on my videos.
Wow.
Been on Japanese TV, British TV. Was on Have I Got News for You?
Really?
Yeah, they used one of my clips. It was one of my most recent ones. I don't know if you saw it. It was when I was promoting, obviously moving all around.
Yeah.
I was as the Nana, but I was dressed as Super Mario, and I got a different mobility scooter. This time I got one with a petrol engine in it.
I did see this one.
Yeah, the 125 engine with the fireworks and stuff. But have I got news for you? Messages and said look, I'd love to put it on the show. And it was Gary Neville. We're comparing us to some politician, some member of parliament. I don't know who it was, but yeah. So I remember in 2021. Patrick did a trick in Newcastle at the utility arena. And now, just to give a brief background, me and Patrick first met in 2011 at an after party. And there was this event in Newcastle called Jaunt. And I met him in an afters. I remember he was sitting to my left. And he just started talking to us. And he just said, "Oh, how you doing, mate? Like, nice to meet you," kind of thing. And he was just like, "Oh, you should come to my event one time. It's called Motion." And I says, "Oh yeah, I've heard a lot about it." He says, "It's like, me and a couple of other lads who set it up. You should come along sometime." I says, yeah, definitely. And then that's when he told me, I'm a lifeguard. I says, "Oh, I'm a lifeguard as well." And then I didn't see him again until I think it was 6 months later. He started this thing in digital. I think it was called Module.
Yeah.
And was it Module or Modulation? I think it was Module. But I remember this is what I love about Patrick. He's one of the nicest people I've ever met in my life. And I hadn't seen him for ages. And I was walking into digital. And he was walking out and he went, "Oh, hello, mate. How you doing?" He was like, "Oh, it's lovely to see you again." He went, "Listen, I'm doing a thing upstairs. Do you want to come up and pop and come and see us?" And I hadn't spoken face to face, right, for nearly 10 years. Right. But we knew of each other, and if I saw him, I'd say "Hey," blah blah blah. I think I drove past him one time like that. And when he started blowing up, right, when Forget came out on Hot Creations, I messaged you on Facebook and just said "Look, mate, I'm so proud of you. You're smashing it." Because he was the first one to make it from our area.
I was going to say he was like the champion of the Northeast. Yeah,
he was, mate. He totally was. He was the first one. And like I said, like myself and me and Ben and the rest, he's just a working class lad. And
yeah,
end up, it was mad. So anyway, got a message on Instagram and that. He was like, "How you doing, mate?" And that, I'm doing Trick. Do you want to come down? And he put us on his guest list. Yeah. And I was like, fucking hell. So I went down and saw him. Right now, when he invited us, I was like, "This is my chance. This is it." So I went down super early before anybody else was there, because I know Patrick gets blaggy. There's loads of people there who want to talk to him. So I went before everybody else got there, and he came in. I'll never forget this moment, Bill. Right? He came in and he looked straight at me, and he came straight to us, and he gave us 10 minutes of his undivided attention. Just looked at us the whole time, like this really deep conversation. And I says, "Look, Patrick, I've been sitting on this music. Obviously, I've showed it to Ben, and Ben thinks you might be interested in it. Could I show you, please?" He says, "Me?" He went, "Send us all your music. I want to hear all your music." He went, "Actually, Ben's on stage now. How come with me? I'll take you downstairs and we'll go and see him." So he took us on stage with him. I was like, fucking hell. And it was like a week later, Ben Hemsley gave him a nudge. Says, "Oh, have you listened to Shak's music yet?" He went, "No, I'm going to listen to it now." And then I got a message off of me. Like Ben's obviously given me number, and he went, "Yeah, mate, I've just listened to your music. I fucking love your tunes. I'm going to play them tonight at Mint in Leeds." And I remember I woke up in the morning and I got a voice note off him. I put these voice notes when I was promoting the song. I got a voice note off him at 6 o'clock. He'd just come off stage. He was like, "Mate," he was like, "I'm in the middle of Mint Club. I played 3 of your songs tonight and they were fucking amazing. I'd love to sign them to Trick." I was like, fuck. Holy shit. And then he played them at Snowbombing, I think it's called, in the Alps. Yeah. So he played them there as well and that. And then obviously we were going back and forth, and then it was, what happened is basically in April of this year, got a message off him. He says, "Listen, look, I'm doing this upstream deal with Ministry of Sound.
Yeah.
they have had a little listen to the catalogue of music that I'm planning on to release, and they've picked one of your songs they'd love to work with us with.
Yeah.
Would you be interested in it? And I was like, fucking definitely. So that's when I started building a relationship with Ministry of Sound. And then we started going backwards and forwards with the tune. There was a lot of hurdles and obstacles we had to overcome to get the tune released.
Yeah.
Obviously, that can always be the case with sample clearance. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
But we ended up getting everything sorted out. But the mad thing is, Will, and again, like I just like alluded to before, I don't believe in coincidences. Right now, my tune was supposed to come out on the 5th of August, right? For reasons like I just alluded to with sample clearance and stuff like that, behind the scenes, couldn't come out then. So they got pushed back to October 7th. And then Patrick was releasing Keep On Moving then, so then they swapped it to October 21st. If I had released my song when it was initially planned, there's no way we could have done the promotion and the marketing for it. So there's no coincidence there. So I'm so grateful it came out when it did. And the response I received off it's just amazing. Like, it's literally life-changing. Like, I remember I saw you. Obviously, I didn't actually go up and see you, but came down to Bristol.
Were you there? Yeah, because I saw videos and I was like, how the fuck did I not see him and him be there?
Yeah, so I came in when you were playing, right? And I was upstairs on the balcony.
Okay.
And I remember I could see you through the smoke. I just seen this big beard in this white top. And I remember you dropped Rock With Me. I love that song, by the way.
Cheers, mate.
I remember me and Patrick were talking about stuff and like marketing that what we're going to do, and it's just been a fairy tale since then. It's just unbelievable. And I'm forever grateful to Patrick for everything he's done for us, and it's just changed my life, mate. Like,
what's changed? This is what I want to know. For obviously, like I vaguely know what's changed, but like, what's changed?
It's a great question. So first of all, and most important, right? You know this, right? And to the producers out there and the artists out there who are writing music, before you get somewhere and you have them arduous days and every day is a battle and you just got to be consistent. It's like overcoming a hill. So like, because I'm getting to a point where I'm establishing myself now and the door's being opened, I have no doubt or worry anymore. That I think for me, that is the biggest change in my life. Like, my mindset has totally changed, which is really important, because your thoughts, this is my opinion, your thoughts are the most important things in your life, because your thoughts become reality. The way you think dictates the way you feel, and the way you feel dictates the reality that you experience. So because I'm not waking up anymore skitzing and having, self-doubt and stuff like that, and, I'm more like fucking, like, do you know how many people have said to me, have you got ADHD? And I'm like, no, I'm fucking living my best life. Do you know what I mean, mate? I'm fucking living my best life. And again, like I touched on at the beginning, I'm fulfilling my purpose. And we are purpose-driven beings. We are goal-driven beings. And when you're fulfilling your destiny, it's such a rewarding experience to be in. So that's the biggest change for me.
That's really interesting to hear, and it's really nice to hear, because I think obviously you've worked your whole life to get to where you're at, right? It's just happened very differently for you than it does for most, where it's your first ever record that's come out as this artist name. Like, it's the first ever record, which is unheard of, but I think it's like also a sign of the times and like where music's going, but it's also a sign of a fucking great record, and it just connects with people, and I think that's the difference, is that if you make something that connects with people, people are going to listen to it no matter what, and I know you say everything happens for a reason, which I live my whole life like that. And also with that, there's a lot of hard work, and there's also a lot of luck that comes with that as well. And I think you work to get that luck, and you put the work in to make your own luck. It doesn't just happen you didn't blow up overnight, although everyone will see that you've just blown up overnight because it's the first time they've seen you. But I think that people don't know the amount of work you put in behind the scenes, and even just the promotion for this record. Like, I see it from the back, like how much work you put into the promotion on this record, and kind of how that, and also how much you understand marketing, which is a lot of people in this industry don't understand marketing, and a lot of people aren't willing to even do any marketing for their records. It's like, oh, the record's out now, it is what it is. Like, you did a lot of promo for this record, and it like the hard work really does go to show, like it pays off.
I think I once heard someone define luck as when hard work meets opportunity.
Yeah.
Now, like I say, I mean, I've been blessed with some great fortune, great luck. But like I say, I've worked very hard to get where I am.
Totally.
And again, like, I know for a fine fact, but people only see the end result.
Mm-hmm.
They don't see, like, mate, I had some really depressing days learning to write music. Like, it's incredibly difficult to be able to write music and to be good at it.
Yeah.
And learning, all the technical side of it. Like, I had some very, very, very lonely days, like really lonely days where I felt miserable. Mm-hmm. But I was persistent and I was consistent. And like I was touching on when Patrick invited us, I was like, "This is my opportunity. I've been gifted. this blessing. I'm going to take it with both hands." And I did, and obviously, here we are. But I think. Yeah, I mean, like the marketing and that as well. Like, so I remember I was chatting to somebody, and I said like when I did the B&Q video, right? It was like the first.
So explain that to anybody that hasn't seen it.
Right. Okay. So what we did is
also explain what B&Q is, because a lot of people don't know it.
Yeah, B&Q is a hardware store in the United Kingdom. It's similar in the United States, like Home Depot.
Yeah.
I don't know any other hardware stores in Europe or Australia or wherever. So, yeah, wherever you get tools from and nails and things like that, that's what it's like. And they also do gardening stuff as well. Now, we basically, when I was planning all of these marketing things, I knew B&Q was going to be the most difficult one.
Yeah.
Because of the staff.
Yeah.
Now, what I decided to do is I was like, right, everybody who's going to take part, go in the shop and just act nonchalant as if you're just there looking for some items. So I had people in the garden section looking at trowels and,
How did you get people to go there? Like, how was it just mates or?
So I started a group chat. I've got a group chat on WhatsApp called the Moving All Around group, and I just added. I think there's like 55 people in the group.
Yeah.
And then they invite friends and stuff like that. So I'll say, like, look, be here at this location at this time.
Yeah.
So I was last to go in. So I had a friend helping us. And what I did is I put my decks in a black bin bag and I put them on a flatbed trolley. And then I got another trolley, like a normal one, which you put shopping in. And I put the battery power packs and the speaker in the trolley. And I just wheeled them in,
Yeah.
Just acting as if I just belonged, and nobody said fucking nothing. So I'm looking at the tinsel and that going, oh. And then I literally just went into the kitchen. Bear in mind, I'd done a lot of reconnaissance, picking which kitchen was going to be best. So picked one at the back. And literally, there was fucking no staff. I just went like that, set everything up, and then I got everyone. I was like, fucking come, message in the group chat, everybody come round. So I started playing in that, and I remember the security came over, and he was just like this on his headset. And then he had a phone in one hand and he just looked at us and turned away and he didn't fucking do anything.
Oh, that's amazing. That dude needs a fucking beer. Legend.
I'd just like to say, he actually messages on Instagram and said, like, I think what you did was class. I was like, yes, I love it. So I knew I wasn't going to get a long run. Yeah. So I played the radio edit of it. And I think I got 2 drops in, and then it was like coming to the 3rd drop, and this woman come over and she just ripped the power cord out. Now, I didn't want to physically stop her because obviously that's just breaking the rules. So she came over and ripped it out, and then she was like, "The police have been called," and I later found out that because B&Q is next door to the police station, right? It's next door, right? And somebody who works there told me that they did actually ring the police, but when they spoke to the operator, the police didn't believe them, so they didn't dispatch any units.
No way.
Yeah, I said like, obviously there's someone in Heights B&Q, there's someone having a rave in my kitchen. Can you send the police round? Because mate, I was there for 10 minutes after, and the police never turned up, and they're only next door. So that was mad. But this is again what I've told you about I don't believe in coincidences, right? When I made the B&Q video, I had an entourage of people, right? But there was some members of the public there who weren't part of my group, and there was this young lass who was filming me, and she put it on TikTok, and the video started going viral. So I had no choice but to release the video. But it's because I released the video that it caught the attention of media outlets, and Radio 1 got a hold of it. And then obviously Danny Howard had already been sent it, I think, off ministry, but I ended up getting world's hottest record. So again, mate, if I hadn't released the B&Q video, I might not have.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
No, totally, man. Yeah,
it's mad.
I think this is the thing as well, is like, especially in this day and age where club records nowadays, and like, I could be wrong and I'm happy to be wrong, but records nowadays aren't necessarily successful because they're big in the club. They're successful because they're big on everything else, and you either hate it or you don't. It is what it is, and you have to kind of go to what you have to do, and you came up with a marketing plan that was really organic but also fun, and people could relate to, and people wanted to watch it. It's fucking great.
Yeah, well, but this is the thing though. Like when I mentioned it to someone about the B&Q stunt before I did it, and they were like, "Oh, is this what you have to do now to become a DJ?" And I was like, "No," I says, "I'm being me.
Yeah,
I'm just being myself."
That's the thing.
Most important thing is being authentic. Is one of the most powerful things you can do as a human. And now in our day and age, well, unfortunately, we have an epidemic of unauthentic people because of social media.
Totally.
So I just wanted to say to the people out there who are listening, you are one of one.
Yeah.
We're all God's children. And I just hope that more people will realize in time that only you can be you.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you spending your day trying to fucking be like John Doe?
Yeah.
Be you. Only you can be you. Step in your own power and be authentic. So I said, the kid, I was like, no, I says, I'm being myself. I just love doing fucking crazy stuff. I love it. I buzz off it. I says, I'm just being myself. I says, don't ever be something that you're not. It's one of the worst things you can ever do. And it's just, yeah, I mean, like social media is, I love it because it's an incredible tool. It helps me promote myself a lot.
Totally.
But on the flip side, a lot of people, which tends to be younger, their minds are rewired or warped, and they're just trying to be someone that they're not. Just be yourself.
I think the thing is which it happened to me years ago with music, is like the minute you see someone being successful, right, and you want to be successful, like you think, oh, what did they do to get there? I have to do exactly the same. And it's not, but it takes time to realize that in your life. And I think what's happening now is you have a lot of younger people that, when we grew up, the only people we kind of really could see, like when we're teenagers, were like pop stars, rock stars, rap stars, or models, right? And like sports stars. Like we'd had magazines that we'd like read and we'd look at and shit like that. And we didn't have social media. So, and we didn't have the social media that's now. Like even when we got Facebook, when that first came, like we were in our teens, like late teens. So like we didn't have the viral social media. But now viral social media can mean that you can earn a fucking good living from it. And a lot of the people were seeing that as like, okay, this person did this, they're now multimillionaires. I want to be a multimillionaire. I then have to go and do what that person's doing, rather than thinking, what is the niche thing that I can do as a person that nobody else can do? Like nobody else is who I am. So what can I do that will then kind of fit into a niche? Some people don't have that. Some people can have that, and some people don't have that. And you just have to find your little thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you can see right through it, right? You can see some people can be extremely successful by emulating. However, it's not authentic to them, so it doesn't last for them. It's not forever, and that's where it gets a bit weird. But you're right. Like it is. I don't know you but even just from this conversation, I know how much you love it. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah, being yourself, mate, it's just so important and so powerful. But I think just to touch on what you said there about seeing someone being successful and thinking, right, I have to do that.
Yeah.
I had a fascinating conversation recently with an A&R from Warner, and he was telling me when LF System blew up and Afraid to Fuel got number one, he told us that he had 60 demo submissions of people slowing the tune down before the drop, then speeding it up.
Yeah.
And he said to us, he was like, be yourself, be organic, do something else that other people haven't done. Why the fuck are you copying off people? And I think that's a problem with music, is a lot of people do copy off other people. And I don't know why people do that.
I know why. People want success. People want success. It's not I'm guessing that's what the issue is, what the reason is. But it's like, it happened to me. Like my first record was a record, like my first record that did anything was a track called Big Booty. And I signed it to Worthy's record year, like 2004 it came out, I think. No, 2014. 2014 or 2013, I can't remember. And that was like the first record that everyone was playing. MK was playing it, Jamie Jones was playing it, Eats Everything, Seth Troxler, the Martinez brothers, everyone was playing it in the cool camp, because they were just blowing up at that time as well. And I was like, fuck, Jamie Jones is like asking me for an EP. Like, I need to now make Hot Creation records. And it's like, that was the thing that, like, I gave up music for 6 months after 2 months into that, because I was constantly just making music that I think Jamie would have liked, rather than sitting back and going, he's playing the record that I made, me being me, and only I can make that record, and everyone's playing that, but I was just trying to fit in, and when you try to fit in, it just doesn't work. It really doesn't work. But that was the best lesson I learned, is that like we evolve as artists, and you're not going to release the same record over and over again. Like we all evolve, and our sounds change. Look at how much Patrick's sounds changed over the years. If we want to look at sounds changing, but it just has to be done authentically.
Absolutely. I think I'm so glad you've mentioned that, because when me and Ben in our early days, when we were writing music and that, we would we would say, oh, well, let's make a record for this label and that. And then as like we evolved as artists, Ben always said to me, he was just like, when you aim for a label, you put yourself in a box
100%.
straight away.
Yeah.
And that's the worst thing you can do.
Yeah.
There are no rules when it comes to writing music. And what I found is, if you try and write a record for a label, you always inhibit yourself. So, like you see, you're just living proof, mate. And I've been there myself. So that's what I'm saying. Just be yourself, and it'll go to the right place.
Yeah, and I think also the way music's released nowadays, like you do need associations. Everyone needs associations to a certain level, but like, you look at LF System, like they pretty much released on majors since day one. They've released on some, but like they were known for releasing on majors. Like you don't necessarily need, if you make good music, you don't need the associations nowadays, because the internet allows you to sell tickets. The internet allows you that. Whereas before it was like, you need the stamp of approval of Hot Creations, you need the stamp of approval of Dirty Bird, you need Defected, blah, 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 which is all good and like, they're all great avenues to release music now still, but you don't need it. You can be bigger than any of those labels by having a big social media following. Simple.
Yeah, for sure. And again, it touches back to be yourself.
Yeah.
I think another piece of great advice I would give is concentrate on yourself. To those who are listening out there, anyone who writes, and this is applicable in all fields, all walks of life. Don't concern yourself with what other people are doing. Focus on what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah.
And that's like the best analogy I can give of this is, let's just say you go in the gym, right? And you see someone who's in really good shape and you're looking at them instead of looking at what you're doing. Dude, pick the fucking weights up. You're here to work out, not look at other people. And it's the same thing with your work, whatever you do, but especially music. Don't concern yourself with what other artists are doing. You focus on yourself.
When did you come to that realization? Because that's not something you get born with. It takes time.
Does take time, mate. Fucking... I would say probably in 2020. 2020 is because I would be, oh, look at what he's doing, look at what he's doing. But yeah, probably in 2020. Because I've been writing music. Like, Ben taught us how to write music. In 2019, December 2019, so about 3 years ago. I had like 6 months off where I didn't write anything.
Yeah.
But so I've been writing music for like 2.5 years straight. But 2020 is when I like stopped concerning myself, because it's anxiety. Like, I want to be where they are.
Yeah.
And again, touching on the success thing that you were talking about. And then I was like, I said to myself, I was just like, you're focusing your time and energy on what other people are doing. And this is another thing I learned. Great quotation. Where energy goes, energy grows.
Yeah.
So don't spend your day looking at what fucking Joe Bloggs is doing. Focusing on what you're doing.
Yeah. Oh man, 100%. I remember, like, for me, it was 2018. Like, I had a career. I was touring full time, and it was at the end of the year, and I was so fucking unhappy in my career.
Why?
I multiple reasons. I was writing music that I didn't like because I was fitting into a record label that I was signed to. I had a management team that didn't really understand where I wanted to go with my career. I thought buying materialistic things, like I bought a house, I bought a car at the time. Like, I thought all those things would make me happy. And realistically, it took me a year to like realize like what actually did make me happy, and like what I needed to do to make decisions in my career to then move forward. And realistically, it was just like, do what the fuck I want and stop looking at everybody else. Like, and also don't be envious of other people's success, because there's space for everybody. And just because somebody else is earning more money than me, just because somebody else's record's doing better than mine, doesn't mean that I am not as good. It doesn't mean that I'm never going to be as good. And it doesn't mean that they're a bad person or I'm a bad person or I'm whatever. It's just like, just enjoy the moment and just write music that you fucking love, and everything will fall in place. And literally it does. Everything fell in place from then. Fired my managers, started writing music I wanted, and here we are today. It's game changing.
Wise words, sir. Well said.
Game changing. So I want to go back to what's changed. We kind of, your mindset has changed in like the down days. You're still going to have those down days, of course, but like, what else has changed in the immediate future?
So obviously, financially, that's another thing as well, especially in this current economic climate. I don't have to worry about anything. Like,
love that.
I can look after my mum. Like, my mum's 66. She still works, but it's nice to give back.
Yeah.
Like I alluded to, my mother sacrificed so much of her life to enable me to be in the position that I'm in.
Yeah.
So, there's so many things I want to do for her. So, not having to worry about anything. Like, this is my career. This is me. I can make a living of what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So that's a massive that's something I don't have to think about. So that's freeing up more energy.
Yeah.
Which is great. And obviously, you know, the traveling, going to all the shows, meeting all these amazing people, experiencing all these different things. So I'm obtaining loads of new life experience, which is great. And yeah, like, I mean, for me, it's the biggest thing for me, Will, is having that feeling of fulfilling my purpose and destiny.
Yeah.
That's just what keeps coming back into my head. Obviously, you know, having the money, I'm so grateful for that, for being financially, don't have to worry about anything.
Yeah.
But one thing that is really important as well, I've got really good people around us.
Yeah.
So I've got great management now. Got a great agency, great agent. I've got great friends around us who I'm bringing into my fold next year, who are going to be part of my team, and that is so rewarding that I can take my friends with us on this journey and have the right people around us who care about us and who do love us and have a vested interest in my welfare and aren't just there for a ride, you know what I mean?
Totally.
So that's the thing, and this is applicable with anything in life. You have to be incredibly careful with the people you have around you and the people that you spend time with. So it's mad, mate, honestly, like, I'm just speechless, mate. Just honestly, like, it's like a whole perspective shift. It's like a polar shift. My life, and it's not just like, oh yeah, like, look, I'm doing all this now. It's, for me, what's the most important is my how I feel in here and how I feel in here. Like, getting up knowing I am fulfilling my dream and destiny, and I'm doing it. Do you know what I mean? So
it's the best feeling, man. It's the best feeling.
Yeah.
And I think, like, it's really nice to hear that, because I think for me, listening, like, I can become pretty jaded in this industry. Because
why do you think that is?
I think for me, it's how long and how much work you put in. Like, for me, is like, I've been doing this since I was 15. No, I've been DJing since I was 12.
Fucking hell.
And I've been producing since I was 16. Like, and just the like, I love it, mate. Like, and I have a very good career. I'm very fortunate of where I'm at. I know that. But I can get jaded in the industry. I think if somebody says they didn't, it would be weird, because it's still a job. It's still our everyday life. But I think, it's really nice to hear you come in with like a really fresh and positive perspective on where it's going. It's really nice. And I'll be honest, I wasn't expecting it. Like, I really wasn't expecting it. So it's really nice to hear, man. And I really appreciate you, like, coming on and sharing the whole experience, because I was really intrigued how it all came about, and I'm really happy for you. Really happy for you.
Oh, thank you so much, man. Honestly, I first of all, I just want to say thank you for your extremely kind words and support, mate. And like I say, it's an absolute honour to come on here. And like, I'm really grateful for your time, and yeah, mate, it's mad. It really is. And like, ultimately, one day, like, me and Ben have had these conversations about what we want to do in the future, and like, we were talking about how we'd like to build a community centre for the children in North Shields, and give them the right tools in terms of education to enable them to have the life that they want, because the education system is failing children today, and in my opinion, because it's so back to front. Like, have you ever sat and thought about this, mate? Right? You know, really, on the face value, and this is applicable with most paperwork tests, right? It's a memory test. They're grading you based on your memory, what you can retain, right? And you have children who are going into school who they're learning stuff that they're not interested in. And I think the best example I give of this is when you look at an infant, right, say from the ages of 1 to 3, and you see the child developing and learning how to walk and talk and seeing all these colours, so happy. So the child associates happiness with learning, which is very important. Then what they do is they hide them in the education system and they start teaching them stuff that they don't like.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I will state is it's important to have basic skills,
Totally.
like maths is important, so you can add up. English, so you're not illiterate, you can read and write, and you can spell right. That's very important. However, when you start teaching children stuff that they're not interested in, they then sever the connection between happiness and learning.
Yeah.
So they don't want to learn anymore.
Yeah.
And it's like with us, learning to write music, you love writing it, so you want to learn it, right? I think they need to give children more autonomy in school to learn stuff that they want so that they're better. But I said to Ben, I said, like, being able to give the kids the support, because there's not a lot there. And one day I would like to set up a mental health foundation, because the lack of mental health support in this country, all over the world as well, it's just so low. And everybody experience, bad mental health at some point in their life.
Totally. Yeah.
So I've obtained some tools along my journey and my tenure on this planet.
Yeah.
That have really helped me along the way. And
for sure.
Anything else that I learn, I'd like to give back. Because like I said, mate, another thing I'd like to state, Will, as well, is if I didn't come from Newcastle, I would not be in the position I'm in. It's because of the people I have around us in the community and coming from where I do, that has got us where I am. So I'd like to give back a lot to where I come from, because I'm incredibly grateful to be born from here and come from where I do. Do you know what I mean?
No, it's definitely makes complete sense, because I think the community you guys have up there is super special. Like, I know down south we don't have it. It's not like that at all. And
where you from, Will?
Near Bristol.
Right. Yeah. See, I've only been to Bristol, like, out exploring was when I came to Trick, really. So I don't know enough information about it to know what it's like.
It's an amazing city, like, and musically, like, especially the musical history is insane. Like, Massive Attack, Portishead, Ronnie Size, like, all of that, like the drum and bass, the history is amazing. Obviously, you got Eats Everything that's from there, but like community wise, it's great, and it's got a huge community. But I was talking to Ben Malone on just before this podcast, and we were saying up north, like Scotland, Ireland, the north of England, they just support their people way more. And I'm not saying that it's a bad thing down south at all. Like, it's where I grew up, but like you see people look after each other way more up there, which is so nice to see. So nice to see.
100%, mate.
Which I guess
100%.
it makes sense, because it's that working class background, right? Like, it comes from the mining days and the manufacturing days, and when everyone worked together and they had to kind of work together to make things work. So it makes complete sense. But it's just 100%. Nice. It's just nice that it can still be replicated in today's youth as well.
Well said, mate. Yeah, totally. So, but yeah, like I said, I'm so blessed to come from here. So
yeah, love that, mate. We've just done an hour and 10 minutes. I'd love to keep talking to you, but I think we keep that one for another time.
Yeah, for sure. Bro.
How can people follow you? How can people get involved with the Nana Makina and all of that as well?
Well, actually, I'm putting Nana Makina to rest.
What?
Yeah, I'm killing her. I'm killing her off, mate.
Surely you're actually going to kill her off in a really like interesting way.
I am, but cool. I'm not going to tell everybody what it's I'm going to do. But you'll see.
Yeah.
But she's going out with a bang, is all I'll say. Now, so in terms of me, people can follow me on Twitter. I'm on Twitter, obviously. I'm on all socials. If you just search for Schak, and it's spelled SCHAK. Because I've had people who try to spell it in a multitude of different ways, and they always end up spelling it the wrong way. But yeah, I'm on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok. I'm on YouTube as well. I've like started posting shorts on there.
Cool.
But yeah, come and get on the roller coaster. Let's go.
Amazing, mate.
But I'm really looking forward to next year. I've got some mad things coming. So I just would like to say to everybody who's listening, thank you so much for supporting us on this journey. And without incredible people like yourself, I'd never be where I am. So I'd like to say thank you so much. Thank you so much,
man.
Will, for having us on, mate.
Thanks
really means a lot.
Thanks for coming on, man. This is actually coming out in January, so it's going to be a good year. Keep it up, man.
Yeah. Happy New Year, everyone.
Cool, mate. Thank you so much, and keep in touch. And that is a wrap. Really enjoyed that episode. Hope you did. Please give it a share, give it a review, send it to your mates. Have a good one. Keep safe.